said then, it means we must come back and look at what is the quality of the leadership. Go to any average school and you'll find that it is the loudest person who is allowed to be the class representative.
It is only the what?
The loudest person. When you go to a PTA meeting, there's somebody who will say so many things, and they will be made the class representative or PTA something. But that's not a measurement, because being loud is just being loud. You can be loud without saying anything.
And that's the same measurement we also.
If you take that, you will see it in the church. It's the loudest person. It's the person who sings the best. That is the leader of the worship team. But that person only has a gift of singing. They don't have a leadership skill. So we confuse gifts with skills. We confuse structures. You know, the fact that you can sing well doesn't qualify you to be the leader of the team. You can lead the songs, but not the team. Leading a team requires other things. It requires competence. It requires chemistry. It requires character. It requires other things beyond the skill. So, and that goes in almost every area of society. You will realize even how we pick leaders in schools, it's always on what we see on the surface. So we need to go beyond the surface and have a lens through which we're saying.
Is it because we don't understand what leadership is?
Yeah, well, many people actually don't understand leadership, and I think there are two differences. In Kenya right now, people believe that every politician is a leader, which is actually far from truth. There are some politicians who are just what the pastor is saying. They make noise, they have the money, so they can actually do whatever they want to do. They get even into leadership, not because they have the right qualities of a leader. It is because there is something else that makes them to be propelled to that position. Leadership is actually an influence and a positive influence, which actually looks at improving in terms of the life of the people that you are leading. So you can't be a leader and you are not having a vision for the people that you are leading, because where are you taking them? You'll only be having some people, and that's actually what we say, that leadership does not operate in a vacuum. It operates actually in an environment that the pastor is talking about. You find leadership starts from home. So there is an environment which is created at home. And then whatever we see now coming to the open is actually because of the good attribute that you have learned actually from those settings.
So if we are seeing the kind of madness, so to speak, that we are seeing within, these people who are being called Christians, but they are not, and a couple of, what you can call comedians within who've come and are hiding under the church umbrella, it is because to bring the government to regulate is because these people, maybe the leader, the person who's supposed to act as the leader in training them in the matters, faith at home, failed.
Actually, that's a big point. By the way, let me say that the strongest church is actually that church there at home. This other church, as he has said, it is a 2-hour church. 2-hour church. So it is actually very hard for you to bring out every other thing. And therefore, if we don't have strong families, we'll have a problem. And I will give you a very good example.
Yes.
Right now, and that's why the pastor said, we are actually not addressing the issues, because where did we fail? It is the fact that if you look at right now, where we have a problem, we keep on talking about corruption.
Yes.
But do you know corruption starts with you, starts with me, and starts with every other person? But what we have done is that right now, do you know, I was so surprised to hear that in Kenya, several people are saying that we should actually now call corruption the next religion. It has gotten to a point whereby people are actually getting accustomed to the matters corruption.
It's no longer pricking the conscience.
No, it is not.
Yes.
It is actually whereby every other person, for them to get a service to be done, even for them, they are enticing. They want to entice you with something, which is actually a bad thing. And that's why we are saying, when we have a government which is like that, when we have the Kenyan people who are like that, it is actually a very big problem. And you realize that's where you fight, for example, let's say, a politician comes to our church today.
Yes.
Are we going to follow the same program that we follow?
Or
Are we going to adjust it so that we are going to please the people, you know? And this is actually where we are saying there is a serious problem. And if this problem is not sorted out, we are only just trying to touch the surface. But this service will not be able to address the fundamental issues because the foundation is not light. So what we need to do, let's make the foundation light. And when we have, the other thing is going to start. But without that foundation, it's going to be very difficult.
In the Jewish culture, they had a very interesting program for formation. What used to happen was, when a child is born, they will be brought to the synagogue and prayed for. Then they would be taken back home. And it was the responsibility of the parents, specifically the father, to train this child on the law for 12 years. Then at 12 years, this child...
For 12 years, the father was supposed to train the child in as far as the law is concerned.
Then the child will be presented at the 12th year to the synagogue, and the teachers of the law would sit down with this child and ask them questions that are touching the law.
Oh, that makes sense. So that's the reason why when Jesus was 12,
he was taken. The first time you see him in a synagogue is when he was taken as a baby, and then at 12 years. That was the framework. That was the structure. We have taken it and turned it around. The girl who did not make it to praise and worship becomes the Sunday school teacher. You know, the guy who is looking for something to do in the church, we make them the Sunday school teacher. So we are having people who are giving what they don't have. You know, we are having people teaching what they don't know what to teach. So it was the work of the priest to work, the priests in the synagogue those days, the teachers of the law, to make sure that the fathers were teaching their children. They were teaching their family.